going to
the
be
video.
a trending GIF in 2021.
Megan, welcome to the water cooler. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're on Christmas Eve. We've all been talking about it, the 23rd of December. And just to kind of introduce you to our viewers, Megan is an inbound expert at our office. She executes strategy and setting up inbound campaigns, and has been doing it for a long time with
Yeah.
Spring and HubSpot and all these marketing automation platforms. And it's one of the things that Watermark does. And first, we're super happy to have Megan on our team. She's does really great stuff for our clients.
Thank
And
you.
is there anything else, Megan, that I'm missing here that you want to talk about yourself a little bit that I didn't capture?
No, inbound everything. It's really
Inbound
day to
everything.
day working on the account team and really focusing in on inbound marketing. A lot of my clients, majority of them, I would say, have campaigns running rather than just having one-off web projects. And I really like sort of the day to day in the inbound world and launching these campaigns.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've seen as a company how important inbound is to helping our clients and the advantage of it. And we know that inbound is for a B2B client, right? We know that
Mm-hmm.
works. It's the best type of marketing for B2B clients. And that's what Watermark focuses on. So, I think that could be a little bit of our kind of conversation, Megan, is like,
Yeah.
why do you think that this has been so successful for that B2B space?
Yeah, I think inbound marketing is really about this integrated approach to marketing and really building these relationships with their customers. And I would say for most B2B clients that we see, they have a longer sales cycle and they're usually selling larger products versus than a B2B customer. So having these pieces in place through an inbound marketing strategy just really builds value and credibility amongst the company that then transfers along to their prospective clients and honestly makes it easier for them to close a sale in the end.
I agree 100%. I think for somebody who's starting to work on an inbound campaign, I think you mentioned something inside of that I think is really important. Is like, this is a long buy cycle. And I think it's something
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just curious, what have you seen kind of with a client that gets on inbound? Like, how long does it usually take for inbound to start working for them?
Yeah, so it takes obviously some time on the front end to get everything in place, right? The whole point, I think, of inbound marketing is having content that's really valuable. So first we have to develop this content, which obviously takes some time. We need to first set up personas, make sure our messaging is down, and then create something that is valuable to the customer. Once we have that completed, then we have to implement and then nurture that piece of content. So I can see it taking, really depending on the buy cycle for the individual, it can take a few months for these campaigns to kind of get up and running, to really understand how it's performing out sort of in the wild and how we can optimize that to better convert quality leads.
Yeah. And I think this talks a little bit about something I wanted to talk with, our viewers about is, we have this approach of like this, there's a hub piece of content
Mm-hmm.
that Megan's talking about. It's in it it's a white paper, it's a guide, it's a video content, whatever it may be. So we
Mm-hmm.
build that hub, and then we have these spokes around it, which is some of the tactical stuff. That's your social media, your PPC,
Mm-hmm.
your blog content. So it's all these things around it that we're pushing to that premium content piece that helps lead that buyer journey
Yeah,
to a close with our sales folks. And that's what you're talking about. This takes time, right? It's not
a
something
lot
that
of
happens
time.
right away. Yeah, and I would say our typical campaign to get off the ground is 2 to 3 months, about to get
Mm-hmm.
something fully launched. Um, and all that being said, this long buy cycle with the end user kind of they have a bigger product. They're B2B, bigger products. You know, they're
Mhm.
selling maybe a $300,000 thing or whatever. Well, that buy cycle is, you know, not a month. Those people are probably going to be spending, you know, 3 to 4 months to make a decision, or maybe even longer than that, might even
Right.
be a year. But I think, what has your experience been? You know, I've heard it a million times. Like, we're not seeing this happen right away. You know,
Mhm.
so how have we been able to help people with that?
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. It's an obviously a huge investment too, to put time and resources into
Yeah.
not only building these campaigns, but then also putting money into advertising to promote these campaigns. And once they're launched, so I think one of the biggest things that we've seen is that sometimes these campaigns take a little while to actually start gaining traction. And
Mm,
it's really important that we have these pieces in place that are our organic marketing, right? So we're doing blog posting, we are using social media, we're utilizing these paid pieces, which are our PPC campaigns and our paid social media, to make sure that we are creating buzz to continuously nurture these campaigns. And I would say we've seen traction with some campaigns that we've launched a few years ago, and now the buy
yeah.
cycle is coming back into some seasonality or whatever that may be, and some of these campaigns pick back up. Another big thing with these campaigns is ongoing optimization. We don't always get it right the first time we launch these campaigns. Um, and that's okay. That's very normal. But the
Hmm.
biggest thing is, if you don't hit the sort of nail on the head the first time, is that you do have tracking in place. You are monitoring these, and you can make adjustments to these campaigns and pivot them to understand where people are falling off in the buying cycle. Say people are landing on your landing page, but they're not converting or scheduling an appointment, or they're not contacting one of the sales reps. Maybe that content on the landing page is a little off compared to what the ad is that's driving people to that landing page. So then with this tracking, you can start to see where people are falling off and where you can optimize to better convert these leads in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a bunch of things there that I would love to talk about, but there's like so many things inside of that. It's like understanding triggers, like that's a
Mhm.
huge piece of all this. And a lot of times we don't understand what that trigger is until we get in there.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this in another kind of thing, and how we handle web, but this MVP kind of conversation, it's like
Mhm.
the most viable product. You get something out there to understand how to test, and come up with the best solution to drive sales or build a
Mhm.
better website. Or I think it's a big digital conversation of this, like, you have to get something out there to test
Right.
it, and it's all about testing and trying. um, so so that was one of the things you talked about. And then I think another, like, really important piece of something that is like, uh, identifying personas, and
Yeah, that's huge.
you know, yeah, so it's like, you know, what how you know how important is that in this process?
Yeah. So I would say that is the sort of first and most important step, is really understanding your audience, creating these personas, and really understanding what makes them tick, what behaviors, what messaging
Right.
really speaks to them, and how can we create a piece of content that's valuable to the end user. So a lot of times what I see, especially with our clients, is we need to kind of shift perspective. So our clients work in their product or service every single day. They know the ins and outs of it, but they might not be thinking what their prospective clients and customers are actually looking for when they are looking at their marketing. So that shift, I think, is really important. And to do that, we create personas, we take a look at the competitive landscape. What are their competitors doing? What's working for them? What's not? How can we differentiate ourselves from the competitors to really sort of make a mark in the industry and to differentiate ourselves, not only from our competitors, but also add value to what we're putting out in our marketing for our customers.
Yeah. One other thing that I think is a huge piece of this that I see people do, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on this, is,
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people are like, well, I don't need a marketing automation tool. You know, I can just piecemeal stuff together and do very
right.
similar things to a HubSpot or a SharpSpring. Um, you know, why not do it that
Why?
way?
I think it's crazy not to have one because really
It
the
is.
marketing automation platform is doing the work for you. So
Mhm.
with our help, we help strategize and get all of these pieces in place. When you're first starting out on a new system or you're just starting to get into the process of using a marketing automation platform, it's really overwhelming. There are lots of bells and whistles and different items and features that you can utilize or not. I think it can be really overwhelming, which is why it's nice to have a partner like us. We do this every day. We can sort of utilize different features that we think will be best for your company. And then once we build these pieces and get these workflows in place, it does the work for you. So really, it's nurturing these leads with the content that we've created to then produce a more quality lead to the sales team once they're closer in the process ready to buy. So they're
Yeah.
not getting these junky leads who are still in the discovery phase and are still trying to understand what products and services your company is providing. Through the marketing automation platform, we have these nurture campaigns. We have these pieces that are automated to take some of that tasking manual piece off of the sales team and also the marketing team.
Yeah. So talking about the sales team, it's kind of a good segue into a conversation
Mm-hmm.
about how important the tie is between, you know,
Oh,
the
it's
CRM,
crucial.
the CRM and the marketing automation
Yeah.
tool, and like understanding what a good lead is from the sales
Mm-hmm.
team. And so, like, how do we do that? What do we do to help the sales team, not just the marketing team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest problems that I sometimes see with our clients is there's a disconnect between sales and marketing. And everyone's been talking about the disconnect and how people need to be on the same page of these two departments so that they're working together to streamline the entire process. So how we do that is we create content that is useful to the sales team. These are valuable resources that they can then send to prospects that might be more of like a colder lead. But hey, here's some resources that you can use to better understand our web process, or here are some resources to better understand X, Y, and Z. We also will put together some workflows for the sales teams that, hey, if you have a client who's stuck, but we want to continuously drip email content out to them, just to stay top of mind, make sure people don't forget about your company and your brand authority. We can create these different campaigns for their different needs to just help them nurture these leads along until they're ready to have a phone call, till they're ready to look at a proposal, till they're ready to meet in person. So really, it benefits the sales team, I would say, the most, but it also streamlines the entire process for the marketing team because there's all these tools available and it makes the whole process just more streamlined and automated.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how, I think even with our help, sometimes I feel like we run into the sales team not getting on board
Right.
and helping us out. I think that's one of the biggest struggles
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen us have internally as
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
firm. Is just like, hey, if the sales team understands what the marketing side is doing, the all that much better the campaign is going to be
Mm-hmm.
because they're talking. If you build a white paper or premium piece of content and the sales team has no idea you're putting that content
Mm-hmm.
out, it's going to be really hard for them to have
Yeah.
that conversation with a warm lead that comes in that they're not. Now, if they're using,
Exactly.
a HubSpot SharpSpring, they're going to see, okay, they've
Mm-hmm.
got this information. But I think there's a bigger conversation that I think a lot of times companies don't have that good tie with sales to say like, hey,
Yeah.
sales, look, we're putting this campaign out here. Here's this great white paper we're putting out about a product that you're, trying to sell or a service or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. So, um,
I also
yeah.
think these platforms are really useful too because you can look at the entire life of the lead. So a lot of times the sales team won't interact with someone until they fill out the form. But with these systems and these marketing automation systems tied with the CRM, you can see what emails they've clicked on before they fill out the form. You can see what
Yeah.
social media posts they've engaged with. You can see what they've opened based on the subject lines versus what they haven't opened. So you get a way bigger picture of this lead and their behavior, what they need, what they're looking for before they even get to the sales team. And I think exactly what you're saying, that communication is key. And we've done trainings with the sales team to show them how to use these tools. We have packaged together all of the assets to say, here is everything you need in this folder. This is exactly what we've done for campaign 1, 2, and 3, 4. Use these pieces at different parts in the buying cycle. And I think laying it out like that and making it very clear for them to follow is also really important to get them on board with this inbound marketing and also marketing automation as a whole.
Cool. We could go on for hours about this stuff.
I could go on for hours.
So we know that there's a lot to this, and I think we're gonna do a lot more videos about this. We're gonna do a video with our sales guy who Nick, he's the next month. So January, have a look out for that video where we are going to talk more about, what is inbound and, what is he looking for in a potential inbound client and so we can just describe that a little bit more to the viewers. But Megan, if there's, I left this off with Peter in the last vlog and said, hey, what do you think a company who's looking for a marketing firm or to do some of this inbound, methodology, what content methodology, however you want to describe it, there's a lot of ways that you can call this, but what should they be looking for in hiring a firm?
I think they should be looking for a partner. So someone that they can partner with to really understand their company's wants and needs and how we can differentiate them amongst the competitive landscape and how we can really create unique strategies and campaigns specific for their company. So it's not just a cookie cutter approach, but really looking into having more of a partner that works together to reach these goals for their campaign.
Yeah. And Megan's great at doing that, by the way. She helps partner with our clients. And I think that's a huge piece of it, is we are a team. The closer that we are with the company we're working for, the better the results almost every single time. And I think the only other thing that I would say that I would ask that if you are looking for a firm and you want their expertise, no matter what you do, most of the time they're going to want, you are the content expert. So I think that's a big thing. It's like, you're the content expert. We're the marketing expert. Let us guide you down the marketing path.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, I think you've seen this, Megan, is that, we run into some clients that are like, I know this better than you guys do. And they don't really understand the marketing journey. So, let your firm, whether it's us or somebody else, let your firm, guide you down the process. And it might be a little bit blurry at first. And then I promise it comes to, it all comes to focus. We have seen that a lot with people, like they come into it and they're really blurry eyed. There's all these moving parts and they don't understand it. And then once a campaign comes together, it all comes into focus and they go, oh, I see what you guys are trying to do. It's like, well, you should just trust us along that journey and we're going to get you there.
Absolutely.
So anyways, so I don't want, like I said, I don't want to go this to go on forever. But thanks, Megan, so much for your time today.
Thank you, Cameron. This was fun.
And so hopefully we'll get Megan back on in another show. We'll dive into another kind of maybe more topic specific inbound conversation, like building personas or how to build a good workflow or
there's a lot
how to choose that right premium content piece. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that we could do. We're going to continue to bring new team members on as well, talking about their field of expertise and what's going on in marketing. So we'll leave it at that. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you so much. See ya.
All right, bye.